The Rosen Report, sports like never before. Brought to you by Gouche Live and Paramount Sports Management. Here's Rosie.
Good afternoon on a Tuesday, kind of so-so Tuesday. I'm in Aurora, and it was a little cloudy today, kind of getting sunnier as we speak. But I tell you where it is sunny. 100% I can guarantee, even if it's snowing, it's sunny in Montreal. Wow. The Montreal Canadiens. I have never been a Montreal Canadian fan. I'm a diehard Blackhawk fan, and I'm telling you, in the 70s, when I was in my teenage years, the Montreal Canadiens, as a Blackhawk fan, they broke my heart, snapped it in half in some of those wins in the 70s. Gouche would remember for sure. We got the Fanshawe kid on today, the producer, director, Jordan Laroche is going to come up. And then, yes, we got him. James Clubine, we got him out of hiding. He is okay. He's the Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys have been folded up, put away for the summer. I'm joking around with him, but you know, he's going to be back and he'll be ready. He'll be ready for next year. He'll be going again. Go Leafs, go! We're going to have a good show, the four of us, talking about what's going on in the world of sport. Man, hockey is great. But first, it's Rosie's rant, and I'm going to give you a rant today that I'm really excited about for the country in a way, because it's the craziest thing. Like, I'm a Blackhawk fan. I say that very openly. When they play bad, I'm a Blackhawk fan. They play great. I've been fortunate as a fan to have 3 Stanley Cups in a 7-year span. It was amazing. The team didn't make the playoffs this year. No problem. But the thing that drives me crazy is every year, it's been since 1993 that a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. And yes, most teams in the NHL, the bulk of their players are Canadian. But the Stanley Cup has not been set down in a Canadian city since 93. The Montreal Canadiens this year, I don't think they're going to do it, but they're the first team in the Final Four. And I love listening to people going, oh, I would never go. I want a Canadian team, but I'm a Leaf fan, man. I would never want the Montreal Canadiens to win. Come on, people. If you truly are 100% the person that wants the Stanley Cup to be back in Canada, and it can't be your team, whether you're a Jets fan, a Vancouver fan, a Toronto fan, it cannot be them this year. It only can be Montreal. If you want it to be in Canada, it can only be in Montreal. So let's put your political, your nonsense, oh, Montreal, I hate that. Let's put it aside. If you truly want the Stanley Cup to be in Canada, cheer for the Montreal Canadiens. That's all I'm asking. Otherwise, don't be a hypocrite. Say it from the beginning. I don't want the Habs to win it, and that's cool. It's up to you. But if you want it to happen, cheer for the Habs. See what happens. There's a lot of Canadians on that Montreal Canadiens team, and then cheer for your team next year. You know what? Next year starts, Jordan, Rangers have just as good a chance as anybody. The Hawks, yeah. Winnipeg, Toronto, all 4 of us are out. Who are you cheering for now? I want the Vegas Golden Knights to win the Stanley Cup. We'll ask the boys what they want. Let's bring them up. The Rosen Report for Tuesday. Jordan, James, and the Gouche. Where's James?
Hey, Rosie.
And hi, James. You all right, James? Everything good?
Yeah, I have not folded up the jersey. It's still there, so that was incorrect. But yeah, go Habs, right?
So let me ask you guys before we do. Obviously, you know, you're a huge Leaf fan. I'm a huge Hawk fan. Jordan, you're a Ranger fan. Gouche, you've got. We'll give you a day to get everything out of your system. You're a massive Jets fan. Do you guys, deep down, do you want the Canadiens to win the Stanley Cup this year, Jordan?
Well, I do want the Stanley Cup in Canada. I'm not really going for the Habs this year. I don't know. Never really was a huge fan of them, so I'm going for the Avalanche coming down the stretch here.
All right, cool. Gouche?
Well, I got to say, there's more Canadians on the Las Vegas team than there are Canadians on the Canadian team. So
Yeah.
we want to see the Cup in Canada more often. Go to a team that has more Canadians. Listen, I'm jumping on the Canadiens bandwagon. I never had to jump off like James, jump off the Leafs to the Canadiens, but I've only got one jump to make. So I listen. I've been wrong all along. I want the Canadiens to go as deep as they can just to prove everybody wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly, I want the Las Vegas Golden Knights to win. I think it'd be a great story if they won it. James, what about you?
Yeah, I like the Avalanche. Never really been a fan of the Habs. I like Nathan McKinnon, obviously like Kadri, so I'd like to see them pull it off over there in Colorado. Same as Jordan.
Hey, Kadri will be back in the series too, right? He comes back for he comes back for Game 7, so it still could end in 6. But if it does go 7, he'll be back. That would be insane if it went 7 and he scored the overtime goal in Game 7. Hey, boys, let's talk last night. The final game, it goes to overtime. The Winnipeg scores and they force a Game 5. But the little bit of a mix-up in the defensive zone, great pass from Caulfield over to Toffoli. I guess Vancouver fans they're so upset because look what Toffoli has done for the Canadiens. Let's talk about that game, and then Gouche, you're going to go at the end because I want you to talk about what you talked about last night about the management and your concerns with your Winnipeg Jets. Jordan, you go first.
Yeah, I know it was a tough game all around. Coming down the stretch, Winnipeg couldn't complete a pass. They couldn't get out of their end. They couldn't get in the offensive end. So they really struggled all around. And a couple of guys that I really noticed were it was like Nick Ehlers, just constant turnovers in the gray zone. He had the turnover that led to, I think, the second goal of the game. There were a couple more times where he, trying to do a little too much with the puck instead of trying to put it in, try to make the extra pass to the blue line. And it didn't work for them last night. It didn't work for them all series. So it was really tough to see.
Yeah. Hey, James, does this make you, as a Leaf fan, and honestly, I'm not being a goof right now, does this make you feel a little better that the Habs took you guys out in 7, that they take Winnipeg out 4 straight?
No, it makes me feel worse because if the Leafs could have just closed out that series like they probably should have, and if they played to the capabilities that they're capable of, then they would have won. But obviously they're the Leafs and they didn't. But, I think the Habs sweeping the Jets actually made it worse. Just knowing the fact that if the Leafs did move on, it might have even been an easier round 2. But, I mean, Carey Price stood on his head and the Jets couldn't solve him. So,
yeah. So, Gouche, you're born in Winnipeg. You love the Jets. You've been loyal from day one. What do you do if you're Chipman, the owner of the Jets? What do? You're going to take a couple of days to think about it. But you honestly had a phenomenal opportunity to be in the Final Four, and then Hellebuyck plays the way he can play. You could have taken out Colorado or Vegas. I truly believe that. What would you do if you had the team today?
Well, first I want to say to Lucky and, of course, all the Leaf fans, I'm still proud to be a Jets fan. I haven't burnt any jerseys, and I think we will get over this, as all hockey teams will get over it. I still would rather be a Jets fan than a Leafs fan right at this moment. I'm just laying that out there. So, Derek, do not worry. All sharp objects have never been needed to be covered in this household. Listen, I just want to say, when you have a player like Blake Wheeler go 0-4 in a series like this and come out last night and basically poop the bed, I'm really concerned about that, because I think it was you, Paul, that brought it up. This guy's going to be a $10 million man at 30. I think he's 36, 37, however old he is. He is certainly not in those type of monies, as is Marner, Matthews. I think these guys are being way overpaid. They should be paid on playoff performances. That's where they should be paid. And I think Dubas is a big disappointment, but I think the Dubas situation comes down to coaching. They moved him around. I think, Jordan, you mentioned trying to find him. It's Game 4. You're trying to find a place to put him. Honestly, your game plan stunk. It's management that has to be accountable for this. They're the people that gave Maurice the players. Maurice is given the opportunity to use those players, and neither one of those guys, Shovel day off, should take the day off and not come back, and they need a new direction, just as they do in Leafs land. That's my thought.
All right. So just to be clear for everybody knows that Gouche and myself, we have trouble with names. You meant Dubois, not Dubas, right?
No, I meant Dubas. I meant this guy.
Dubas is the GM of Toronto. You meant Dubois.
Yeah, he's gone.
Dubas is gone?
Oh, I'd fire him.
Quit dragging us down.
Hold on. Let's go this way. Honest. So Shovel day off in Winnipeg. Well, we're going to forget about him. But Kyle Dubas in Toronto, you fire him?
Absolutely. He spent $48 million on players that are underperformers.
Do you want to talk about that, James? Take a second to go on at Gouche here. Would you fire him?
Yeah, I was just frozen. But if he's talking about Dubas, no, I don't think you fire him yet. He's only had a couple of cracks. I think, if next year we see a first round exit, you can see some moves potentially. The president Shanahan or Dubas. As of right now, no, I think you gotta give him at least one more year. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Jordan, let me ask you this question. Sorry, Paul.
Go ahead.
What are we doing? Like, seriously, you guys spend all this money and you've got a coach that was uncoached, overcoached. Listen, they brought in Ducharme. He came up with a plan, and his plan worked. Neither Morris or Keith, neither of them had a plan. And they were beaten by a team that shouldn't have been where they are right now. But full marks to Montreal. They deserve to be where they are because the fact that they followed a plan. Their general manager, like him or not like him, he had the kahunas to wear that red suit at the Toronto Maple Leafs last game, I think, and walk in there like he's some stud, and he is.
You know what? I don't disagree with you on a lot of things you said. I do disagree on the Dubas thing. I think he gets another chance. He's a young kid.
Yeah.
I think he gets another. Sheldon Keith, I think I think he was definitely outcoached this year, as he was last year against Columbus. Jordan, what's your thoughts? Do you think you stand on James, keep Dubas, or you go with Gouche and fire him? What did that story? What did that say with Bobby?
Bobby B knows his stuff.
Dubas has to go. Wow. And Dubas has to go. And Lucky said Dubas goes. What do you think, George?
I mean, they do have all the pieces. They have the upfront talent. They have the depth, but it just didn't click. I mean, sometimes that's just going to happen, right? Maybe they retool a little bit. I don't think they should fire Dubas. Maybe give him a chance to retool this team a little bit, get maybe a few better depth players, maybe some younger guys as well. Having a lot of guys like Wayne Simmons, Joe Thornton, really it adds a lot of age to the team. And in the playoffs especially, like we saw with Montreal, Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki were having great playoff rounds, and these are young guys that are just coming into the league, so maybe the Leafs need to take more of that approach.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Mr. Goulet, your turn. Go ahead.
James, I'm sorry. See how I turned it around and got away from my Winnipeg Jets, because I'm still in shock that we went this quickly. I just want to end it with this, and I think you're 100% right. The difference between the Montreal Canadiens, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Winnipeg Jets is their coach took chances. They sat out Caulfield and Kakinen. We all said, what's wrong with this dude? He's on drugs. But at the end of the day, he had a mixture of veterans and youth provide them everything they needed. Neither Toronto or Winnipeg could give that. Paul Maurice doesn't want to play youth. He's decided he's not going to do it. James, unfortunately, I love Joe Thornton. He should not have been in Game 6 and Game 7, and you influx it with some youth like they did with what Caulfield did. Hey, Caulfield's a special player, guys. That's unbelievable what he did. But I think coaches have to wake up to today's game. You need a mixture. You can't have too many forwards. I said it. There's too many voices in the Toronto Maple Leafs clubhouse. They've got to get rid of a few of them and get people that'll put the lunch pail on and go out and work.
I agree with you 100%. Last thing on the Leafs, and then we're going to go to the Vegas series. So one thing right now, you got a chance to trade. It's probably not going to happen. Let's just say it, okay? Just for whatever. Marner, Matthews. You got to trade one of them. to get this team over the hump next year? Which one? Just say it's just good TV. Who do you trade, Marner or Matthews? I trade Marner. Jordan?
Yeah, Marner.
Gouche?
Not even a question. I said it from first. Matthews got to go. And the reason is it's the culture that's, hey, laugh what you want. Hey, guys, I'm just going to say this. I've been on, not the NHL, but I've had Matthews on my team. And I got rid of a Matthews on my team and brought a guy that's got this right here, everything. And he wears it with pride. And I said it to you at the beginning. I gave him a tip of the hat. Anybody of his ability can score 100 points in the National Hockey League this day and age. But they got to learn how to win. He's had the opportunity to win. If you're going to go and sell a farm, you may as well sell it with your best player because he is arguably the best player on that team. I just don't think he's got a heart. And the one thing you can't teach somebody, guys, you can't teach them heart. You can't teach them heart. And I just don't think he's got it. That's my opinion.
You're 100% right there. I only think Marner because I think you can get more for Marner on the open market than you can for Matthews. Darren Lux says Matthews will get us most return. I think Marner, but that's okay. That's why we have chocolate and vanilla. James, your thoughts? James has got to pay his internet bill.
I hope he's not upset at me. James, I love you, kid. Hey, listen, as we're waiting for him to come up, look at this one.
Yeah. Darren Lux. Paul Maurice should coach with Babcock, the University of Saskatchewan. Hey, yeah, that's very possible. We'll give no, he's gone. Or
I'll say Marner. There's no chance.
Yeah, you got to pay your bill.
I said one more point I want to bring up with that. Like, there's only been one player in the salary cap era to have won a playoff series, making more than $10 million, and it's Carey Price. So, I do think one of those guys has to go.
Yeah, you know what, Gouche, what you said is so true.
He's got dial-up. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's be 100% honest here. To all the kids, if you're watching, this is one thing Gouche said that is so true. You cannot teach heart. You either have it or you don't. We both played with guys that were amazing players but had no heart, and that's the bottom line on that one. Hey, let's go to
I just want to end one more thing, Paul, if you don't mind, really quickly. We'll put it in there. And I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. I'm just being realistic. I've been there. I've been there on teams where I was a player coach and I had to make decisions. And I cut the bet. I replaced the fan favorite, the best player on the team. I was not that. This kid was. And I can't tell you how much flack I got until I brought Mark McKay into the Timmendorf team, and he took over and he led because everybody played like Mark McKay because he had a heart this big and grit. And I just don't know if Matthews can get over that hump. And why don't you trade him and get somebody like that when you have the ability to? That's all I'm saying. I don't not like Matthews. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, similar in 2006 when we won, it was because of guys like Greg Westlake who had massive hearts. Maybe not the same talent as a Billy Bridges, but massive heart. And we don't even know if Matthews has a no trade. He might have a no trade, and it's a moot point, and they can't do anything. Let's go to Vegas and Colorado. I honestly, after game one, the 7-1 win, I thought, oh, my God, Vegas is done. But you know what? The last three games, they've dominated. They lost game two in overtime. Brutal referee caught penalty. But I think right now Vegas is on they've got the go-ahead. And if they win tonight, I think it's over. Gouche, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, listen, I'm really shocked, to be honest with you, the way they manhandled Vegas in the first game. Yeah, give it a little bit. You know, it's game one. And as we've learned, lose 7-1, lose 1-0, it's a loss. And it's those quality players that can pick it up, which obviously Vegas, you know, they got Mark Stone. He's a heck of a leader. And look at how good Pat Pacioretty's playing. Could you imagine them playing against the Montreal Canadiens? I would just love to see that. They've made McKinnon take off the cape because I already anointed him, Conn Smythe, and I thought he was Superman. But they've taken him. And I wanted to revert really quickly back. You know who Cofield reminds me of? Not Superman. Mighty Mouse. He's unbelievable when you think about it. But I think they've got the number of that first line. It's an incredible first line. And I just think the Colorado Avalanche are in a little bit. I think they'll be better tonight. Just as Derek Luck said, tonight's the night. If Colorado does not come out how they played in Game 1, this is over, guys. I just think Vegas has showed their moxie, and I think they're a good hockey club and led by Mark Stone.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Peter DeBoer is a hell of a coach, and he's got this team now buying into a solid defensive system again. Although they got tons of shots in offense, by that I mean against that number one line. Landeskog, Rantanen, and McKinnon, they have been shut down by Tuck and Martinez and Stevenson and Reeves every single time. Boom, boom, boom. They got him. How can Colorado turn it around tonight, Jordan?
It's going to be really tough. I think Vegas is one of those teams that just builds on their momentum. And the only way to disrupt that is getting a quick goal right at the start of the game, the first 5 minutes. That can just totally shift the landscape of the game. And, I think people aren't giving Vegas enough credit here. I think they have a really solid team, especially defensively. They already had guys like Shea Theodore back there, Alec Martinez. That's a pretty good decor. And then they went out and got Alex Pietrangelo, who's I'd say top 5 defenseman in the NHL.
Yeah.
Again, they have all the momentum right now. I think Colorado, their only chance is to get a quick goal right off the bat and kind of make Vegas play their game.
Hey, Paul, can I just add one more thing? Watching what's going on, watching both games, like we're back and forth and watching every game. What I want to say about that series, Colorado, Vegas, I think Montreal is in a little bit of trouble only for the fact, not that their team is destined, but the fact that they only got 4 defense, and Colorado and Vegas finish every single check. And if you're going to get by, Weber's going to be inundated with every time somebody in his face hitting. That's where I think the North is going to be a little bit taken back because there are hits going on, and not just hits, bone-crushing hits by both of those teams.
Oh, you're 100% right. Both teams are. If Colorado goes through and they get Kadri back, Montreal's going to get hammered every time. And there's Reeves and the guys on the big forwards on the Tuck is just. I don't know what you guys, but this kid Tuck, he has come out of nowhere, man. He is. Every second he's got that puck, and he's just offensively. What a forecheck this team has. Let's go to tonight. I thought Carolina was going to have a really good playoffs. I know, Jordan, you called them to win the Stanley Cup. They're one win away from being knocked out by the defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. Could do it for the first. It's been so long since a team back to back. Do you guys think that? Carolina can force another game. Gouche, you said it, and I don't know. I still don't believe it. Is that Mrazek might play tonight? Yeah. Mrazek was brutal last game. Gouche, go ahead.
If you don't mind me asking the first question, Jordan, well, you both are goaltenders. What is going on? It's a circus. It's a circus act. And I apologize. I always struggle with the name, Jordan. I know you'll let me know.
Me too.
Nedeljkovic.
Yeah, the kid looked good. Yeah, he had a little bit of a shaky start, but what the heck do you go back to Mrazek and then get lit up and even suggest? Listen, it's coming off the NHL.com. Who knows? It says likely, but man, if they go with Mrazek, they deserve. And I have no. Listen, he's in my pool. He's one of only. I think I only got 3 players left in my pool, and he happens to be one. I'll scratch him because I would like to see Brendan Moore deserves better faith than what's going on. And that game the other night. Holy jeez. Last shot, turn off the lights, it's the game winner.
Yeah, and he was incredible in the Nashville series. I mean, every game went to single overtime, double overtime, and he was incredible. He made 40, 50 saves every game, and that he continued in the first 2 games against Tampa Bay. The move to Mrazek made 0 sense to me. And if they do go with Mrazek tonight, I'm scared that they will get knocked out.
Hey, Paul, you as a goalie, I just wanted to ask you because I was thinking this as you as a goalie. What people are counting on you. How do you think the players look now? Like Brendan Moore, I guess his hands are tied. I don't know what would you do. I would go back with
Nedeljkovic.
Thank you very much.
But you know what? I'm looking right now on Carolina's site, and they have Nedeljkovic as a starter tonight.
Smart move
on Carolina's site. So. Yeah,
And,
I agree with you, Gooch. I had this ongoing, and we've talked about this. I had this ongoing nightmare. If you let a bad goal in, like, how do your teammates, like, they can say whatever you want, and you would never say, my goalie. But back in your mind, you're thinking, how can we win? This goalie stinks. He let 6 goals in on 10 shots or whatever. It always has something to do with the psyche of the team. When you know that your goalie is going to, the way the Canadiens feel with Price, the way Vegas feels with Fleury, they know that if I should give up the puck, my goalie's going to bail me out. And when the team doesn't not have that feeling, with their luck, bet your house. What does that say? Bet your house tonight. Tampa is a lot. I don't know. You know what? Do you think, guys? Let's go there for a second. Do you think it's a lock? I still think Carolina has a chance.
Yeah, Carolina's a scrappy team. I can. It's hard to count out guys like Sebastian Aho, Svechnikov, Vincent Trocheck. I'm losing more and more faith by the day, but I still think Carolina has a little bit of a shot here.
I think Sebastian is an Aho. Hey, listen, here's what I want to say. Thank God it's not my house. I'm betting it. Because if we lose it, Jordan, we just get a trailer. We'll move in with Paul. We'll all live happily ever after in a forest. I think it's done. Lucky, I'd love to say that you're right. I think he's right. I think Tampa Bay smells it. And it's just like last night. I'm not running your show, buddy. I just want to, because you guys are goaltenders. Your team plays in front of you. And last night, Rask, I have no idea. I love the kid. I think he's one of the major reasons why they've gone this deep. What is going on there? Because that was what he had four goals and 6 shots.
I think it was 4 goals and 12 shots. But yeah, and what? He's played great. They've won some of those games in both rounds because of him. He had a stinker last night, and they need him if they're going to come back. Let's end off the show on that one there. Man, the Islanders, they just know how to win. It goes down to Barry Trotz. He's a player's coach. The players love him. They love to play for him. But can you imagine, guys, if it's the Montreal Canadiens against the New York Islanders in the Stanley Cup final? That would be the most boring Stanley Cup final in history. Jordan, does Boston still have a chance to come back and win this series?
Yeah, I think Boston is one of those teams you can never really count out. Whether it's the Islanders, the only thing with the Islanders, Ilya Sorokin and Ilya Samsonov are both 2 incredible goalies who are playing at the top of their game right now. But again, it's just Boston. They're in the finals every year, almost every year, and I can't count them out. So I think Boston can come back and win the series.
Hey, Gooch, finally we caught Jordan in a mistake. Very rarely do I catch him. You said Samsonov. You meant Varlamov.
Varlamov, yeah, geez.
Hey, we got him.
No, Paul, he was thinking about my comment that we're going to be moving. We need a Samsonov case.
Wow.
Hey, listen, I want to go. Matthew Meisner, thanks for joining the Rosen Report. Always good. Lucky, Derek Luck, always having you with us. We know you're crazy. Hey, listen, I really believe tonight is all about the Boston Bruins. When you've got Marchand and you've got Bergeron, you've got Hall, you can't count them out. One of the things that you saw Bergeron make a mistake yesterday. I think you may have seen it where he shot the puck over like Marner, and you saw him go to the penalty box. He looked with confidence, whereas Marner, he hung his head. So I think you've got a guy that's a leader, knowing, hey, I made a mistake. It's cost us a game. I look for the Boston Bruins to come out with their best effort. But we talked about Barry Trotz being this incredible defensive coach. He scored 5 goals against the Boston Bruins, who are a pretty good defensive team themselves. That is a good hockey team.
They were.
I really think they've got a chance of knocking them out, but I'm going with the Bruins.
Yeah, I get that, Gooch, but it was, you know what? They were not good goals. Okay, let's go tonight's games. Tampa, Carolina, Vegas, Colorado. I'm going to go first, and I will say Vegas 4-2 tonight, and I'll say that Carolina pushes it to Game 6, winning 3-2 in overtime. Jordan?
For Carolina, I'll go 2-0 with an empty net. And then Vegas, Colorado. I'll go 4-2 Colorado. I think they bounce back tonight.
Okay, Gooch.
Hey, listen, Carolina 3, Tampa Bay 2. It's going to be a really close, tight-knit battle. I think Brendan Moore gets those guys going, only if he goes with that other goalie. And then in Carolina, Nedeljkovic. Isn't he a tennis player? Colorado, Vegas. I'm going to tell you what. I think Superman puts his cape back on. He carries that team. He's going to rock and roll, and he's going to win. They're going to win 4-1 with an empty net goal. It'll be 3-1, and they'll have to pull Fleury, and it will be a 4-1 win for Colorado. I guarantee it. Let's bet Lucky's house.
All right.
Works for me.
Hey guys, I love doing this as always. It's great hockey again tonight. Gooch, I'm going to give you the final word to all of the Winnipeg Jets fans out there. Say something that makes them realize that next year it can be their year. Gooch.
What can I say? Oh, there's next year.
No, but you honestly, you don't just think that this team is done.
No,
they
I don't
still have a ton of talent.
No, I don't think it's done, but I think there needs to be some shake-up, and they haven't done it before. And I think they really need to make a direction change. And listen, Shovel Day Off, I think I say that name pretty close. I like the guy. I've met him at the Hall of Fame. I think you were with us when we met him. I think he's done an okay job. But now after 10 years, if you don't have success, this is a success-related business, and they haven't had success. And our friend Morris is the exact same. 8 years. Stop looking at only the players, because you're right. They have enough talent to move on, but it's the coaching staff and the management that has not allowed them to do it. They got arguably the top 3 goaltender in the world.
Yes.
In the world.
Yep.
And I think they've got to build around that.
Okay, I'm going to give you one here because Jordan said it a couple days ago, and I haven't seen it come to fruition, so maybe it was just something that was said. You got a chance. Would you fire Maurice and bring Gerard Gallant in? Young kids love him. I haven't heard anything about the Rangers snatching him up. George.
Yeah, I got punked on that one.
Oh, okay. Hey, I would have thought what a perfect fit. But would you bring Gallant into Winnipeg, Gooch?
100%.
The Sabres and the Blue Jackets are close on Gallant as well as the Rangers.
Would Gallant be crazy enough to sign in Buffalo? Then I got to get him. Somebody get him a doctor.
No. I think it'd be a perfect fit in Winnipeg. There's he's great with young kids. Look what he just did with all the youth with Team Canada coming back from an 0-3 to win the and everybody that has played for Gallant has said he's an incredible coach. So
big shout out to Nick Paul, unbelievable, another golden goal. And at the end of it, from me to you, Paul. God forsake Mangiapane shouldn't play. Why couldn't he play like that? Knocked out the Montreal Canadiens. We wouldn't even have all this stuff.
I heard you say that. I heard you guys say that last night on your little wrap up, and oh my God, absolutely! Can you imagine if Calgary Calgary's got to just be looking at themselves going, now we just 1 week. If we would have had one half decent week at the end, we could have been in that final spot and been where the Montreal Canadiens are. I don't know. You know what? The one thing about hockey, it's unpredictable. Anything could happen. Let's see what happens tonight, and we'll revisit this again on Saturday in the roundtable, boys.
Looking forward to it, buddy.
Thanks
Paul.
Thanks,
Paul.
Thanks, George.
See ya.
Yep. I love talking hockey, and I tell you, Gouche and we've been around the block a few times. I love the opportunity with the Rosen Report and with the journey on Sunday nights that Gouche has given me. I love the beginning when we did it, the Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen. Never forget those days at the Hockey News Studios. But we got to keep moving and keep moving and keep moving, and we are both very, very fortunate and very blessed to have the Fanshawe kid, Jordan, taking the controls, and he learned from the best. We can't forget Val Silva. Always thinking of you, Val. You are an incredible guy. Let's watch some hockey tonight. Robert Wine, You're our favorite, no matter. I don't think Robert Wine has missed a show ever. In the history of anything we've done, he's never missed it. So grateful for you, buddy. And let's watch some hockey tonight and take care of each other. Have a good evening. God bless.
You've been listening to the Rosen Report, sports like never before, with your host, Rosie. Brought to you by Gouche Live and Paramount Sports Management.